discuss, you guessed it, NFTs. In particular, helping you to understand everything there is to know so that you can execute your own brand's digital merch and NFT strategy. By the end of the session, you will know what you need to know, what you don't know, what you should know, and what comes next. So before we dive in, let me introduce myself. A quick note as well, we're on a manual presenter platform, so you will hear me say next slide in between to move the navigation, so please bear with me through the presentation. So let me introduce myself. Next slide, please. A little bit about me. I'm really passionate about this space. I've been around cryptocurrency starting around 2013. So I believe the industry is now transitioning into a large-scale adoption and commercial use case era, and that's really exciting, and that's what we do at Epic. Next slide, please. So Epic is the leading B2B NFT company. It is an NFT platform that works with AAA game platforms and giant entertainment IP brands to create in-game NFT goods and marketplaces. It is widely considered to be the leading B2B NFT platform with years of experience as a digital licensing agency, putting brands into games. Our current client roster includes some of the biggest names in games and entertainment industries, such as Tencent and Garena, Universal, and more. So I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for joining me. Let's dive in. Next slide. All right, this is the NFT playbook. And like any playbook, this will provide you with a step-by-step instruction that will enable you to plan and execute your company's NFT game. Chapter 1, the players. Here we will uncover why it's important to know who the players are, teach you the basic nuts and bolts of NFTs, and start by identifying what your end goal is. In Chapter 2, we'll introduce the quarterback. As the name suggests, the quarterback is your shot caller. We'll discuss what the QB is responsible for, why that is important, and how you might find your own QB as well, and identify the skill set that they will need so that you're able to successfully execute your game plan. Then that brings us to Chapter 3, which is strategies. What are the different ways you can get involved in NFTs? What's right for your business and your brand? Once you identify your core objectives in this emerging digital space, let's look at the action steps that you can implement to achieve your goals. And last but not least is the end game. In sports, you'll never have a championship unless you are able to first clearly see the target in sight. And what does victory look like to you? We'll uncover that. In this chapter, we'll get to take a look at some of the recent successful case studies to learn from. And following all that, we'll re-summarize what the playbook was and open the floor for some Q&A. So please open up. There's a chat function on the right. Look forward to getting some great questions from you, and hopefully we'll get to them as many as we can by the end of the session here. Next slide, please. Okay, so Chapter 1, the players. This is going to be a heavy chapter as we lay the groundwork for everything else. So first and foremost, NFTs itself. What are they? Why is there so much buzz? And what are its implications? Think of NFTs as a digital marker that represents a certificate of ownership stored in a global registry that is permanent, therefore can't be messed around with afterwards. Because of this, what is happening is you can create tangible products out of digital content. Let's say you have a copy of a digital art piece. That one copy is designated as a true, authentic, original piece, and the identification and ownership of that piece can be tracked and traced. On to the next slide, please. So the important thing to understand about is that NFTs are a completely new product category, with very interesting features that make it extremely powerful. Number one is we can verify ownership, and the NFT in a wallet that holds it act like a bearer certificate. Number two is that it's digital, which means it can represent anything. It can contain or reference any kind of value. This means we get to do really cool things with your product and merchandising strategy, as well as your marketing and engagement with your customers as well. So there are endless possibilities, and it's up to you with your own creativity. Next slide, please. NFTs are digital tokens that exist on blockchain or on app blockchain. And you may have heard that there are numerous different blockchains. You know, Bitcoin is a blockchain, Ethereum is a blockchain, Tezos has a blockchain, the list goes on. So each of them have programmatically different capabilities. However, when you're talking NFTs, you're basically talking Ethereum. This is a technology that we understand very well, having the lead author of Ethereum's NFT standard on our team as well. Next slide, please. So deciding which technology that you want to create your new digital merchandise on has important considerations, such as the transaction fees, also the impact on the environment, and the third thing to think about is the portability to different markets and audiences. Next slide, please. So that covers NFTs, and the second player that we're going to discuss today is our marketplaces. Here's a few that are dedicated NFT marketplaces. Some of them you may have heard. So there's Nifty Gateway, there's OpenSea, there's Wearable, there's Super Rare, etc. So there's a handful and more emerging for dedicated NFT marketplaces. Next slide, please. Now, choosing where to place and sell your products does require careful consideration. Some of the questions you can be thinking about are things like, what kind of products are they already selling? You know, is it a Nordstrom filled with premium name brand goods, or is it a flea market filled with user-generated content? Is your brand stuck on that platform, or your products stuck on that platform, I should say? Or can you and your users move it in and out? Another thing to think about is how credible the marketplace is. This operator is essentially holding your items and will be supporting it over time. Are they a fly-by-night crypto company or someone that's here for the long haul? Another question to think about is, what kind of audience does it have? Is it mostly catered towards a mainstream audience or super crypto heavy? You know, is there a large active audience, or is it really small and niche? Are you, as a brand, with all of your consumers and fans that you've built up over time, are you bringing those buyers to this marketplace? So bringing your brand and the buyers, or how much value are they adding to you in terms of eyeballs? And lastly, also is how do consumers transact a payment? Can you pay only with crypto, or can you use good old cash and credit card? So many of the marketplaces I displayed earlier are crypto only, are crypto heavy, and that's a huge problem, right? I mean, raise your hand here in the chat room and let me know how many of you have a MetaMask wallet, or a crypto wallet. We can take a quick poll. Please just add yes or no beside your name. That'd be interesting to see. So in time, NFT marketplaces will become ubiquitous. There will be marketplaces everywhere, just like there's a gazillion online stores on the internet now. As well, a marketplace, don't think of it just as something that, looks like an online eBay-ish portal. A marketplace, is anywhere users come together to shop, buy, sell, or trade things. That's what constitutes a marketplace. And this means that every digital platform and e-store is a marketplace as well. And this will include mobile apps and video games and the metaverses, etc. Jump to the next slide, please. So Epic is the only NFT company to work with AAA games, and we're excited to share with you right now, this is hot off the press, that an official announcement coming very soon about an NFT collaboration with Gameloft for brands in one of their main franchise, Asphalt. At Epic, we focus on connecting brands with mainstream video games and platforms, where there are essentially billions of users and the economies are well established. Next slide, please. Okay, on to the next chapter, the quarterback. As you can see, there were many questions to consider for your NFT. Now, what is your plan? Are you going to manage all the complications of getting your NFTs out there? Who's going to run your IP and monetize? So in short, sales and distribution strategy. Where are you going to sell it? What channels? Are you going to build your own marketplace or rely on others or a combination of both? Another question is retail and pricing strategy. This includes everything like pricing. Do you want to be expensive or do you want to be affordable? Things like frequency of the sales campaigns, the quantity that you want to do. Also the placement strategy, putting your IP with other equal caliber products side by side. And then another on this checklist is maybe a consideration about who your partner should be. So your quarterback should be thinking about how to grow and expand, taking a look at distribution or technological or brand collaborations, including others. Your QB should also have a viewpoint in terms of technical expertise and support. Minting and creating these items, managing and supporting your items over the long term as well. So at Epic, we walk our clients through these questions and more, offering the spectrum from a white glove service all the way through to kind of a bolt-on to existing capabilities. So to sum it up, consider who is going to be your quarterback. There are solutions out there, just find the right ones for you. Your quarterback is going to work very closely with you, so spend time to find someone credible and trustful that you work well with. All right, let's next slide, please. Yeah, that was a lot of questions on the previous section for quarterback. Let's go get to some answers. In strategies here, we are going to unpack the steps to get your NFTs to market so you can start making some money. The first step one of that is to start with why. What are your ultimate goals for NFTs? Is it purely to make some quick money? Or do you view it as a transformative technology that significantly changes how your existing products are created and sold? Are you looking to transform your retail into digital-first business? Whatever your answers are, it's unique to you and should be evaluated against what your core business is in order to achieve the best results. Next slide, please. The second step in your strategy is to think about your product. To think about these new products and how they fit into your existing product lines. It's essentially figuring out your content strategy. How do you make your content exciting? How do you make your products exciting and desirable? What makes people want to buy it? Is it original new content, or are you just reskinning something old as new? I can tell you that reskinning only lasts for so long. Unique original content is the key. At Epic, we are known as the crossover leaders for this very reason. Crossovers equal original content. Things stay fresh and exciting, and most importantly, not just fresh and exciting, but unique, possibly even exclusive. And that's a core part of NFTs. Next slide, please. Step 3 in your strategy is what's your timeline? In the first half of this year, we saw a mad rush of brands wanting to get into NFTs, with the feeling that they were, missing out. As you can see, and has been, recently reported, the NFT market has retraced a bit. It's not a big surprise that there was a large price correction. We've been advising all of our clients to take a breath before rushing in, and to recognize that brands have a lot more to lose by misstepping. NFTs will be here for a long time. It's not going anywhere. Just like physical products aren't going anywhere, so neither is digital consumer goods anymore. Next slide, please. Step 4, go big or go small. What are you seasonality and macro market situations. For as long as the NFT market is still nascent and largely sold to the crypto audience, the success will be impacted by the crypto market prices. That is just the raw truth of it. So if Bitcoin is in a bull run, valuations will be frothy. When Bitcoin falls, you will see that decrease translated into other digital assets as well. Next slide. Next slide, please. And step 6 in your strategy is one of the most important, and that is going with an integrated marketing plan. NFTs are very dynamic. It's not like your traditional, maybe say, box product where you can set it and forget it type of thing. NFTs is not just merch. It's a campaign. It's interactive. So your marketing and promo plan is tied to the success of your NFT program. And NFTs and blockchain industry evolves very quickly. What is cool and works today may not work tomorrow. So make sure you know what's happening in the scene and know what is trending with the buyers today. There you have it. These are actionable steps you can take to launch your NFT program. On to the next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, we're reaching the final stretch. We covered a lot pretty quickly here, which is great because we wanted to leave quite a bit of room for some Q&A. Our last chapter is the end game, and we're also going to keep this short. In step 1, strategies, we already had you starting with the end in mind already. Asking why. Why do you want to do NFTs? And this will ultimately shape what you define as success for your program as well. So we're just going to spend a few minutes looking at some of the recent NFT drops that I personally think are quite notable, and you can use these examples as some guideposts on what your NFT products might look like. Next slide, please. So you can't talk NFTs without tipping your hat off to the folks at NBA Top Shot. They did a great job turning their huge amount of content into digital merch collectibles. They really dialed in on the collector card foundation that sports fans and collectors are familiar with, giving their fans an extra way to engage with the brand and the game as well. So pretty exciting stuff for people that are basketball fans as well. I imagine it's equally double as exciting. Next slide, please. Another fun one recently was the Undertaker drop, an NFT drop. I think WWE did a great, real great move. They got ahead of the noise. They did a quick drop. This gave them the ability to quickly dip their toes in before jumping head deep, so to speak. Obviously, we're going to expect a lot more from them. They have an entire roster of marketable characters and personalities. And that's exactly some of the things that you can do with NFTs is just build an entire world out of the content. Next slide, please. And lastly, we should mention Lau. It's spelled Lau, and he's really a pioneer in this space. What's really exciting is really kind of fusing how people are introduced to music, and we think Lau had one of the his first drops included basically music visual overlapping with one of his song releases, and it was really cool, and it really opened people's eyes into the creative aspect of this, especially in the music industry, and we're going to see a lot more of that in the years to come, in the times to come. I think anything that really has rights associated with it, it's not just music, is really in a unique spot to leverage this kind of new way to package up and encapsulate different kind of rights and distributions to their fans. So definitely he was a mover shaker, always kind of doing really fun stuff. So I wanted to showcase him. All right, next slide. So there you have it. That is the NFT playbook, your 4-step playbook for NFTs. In it today we covered the field of play. We looked at who the players are. We looked at strategies. There's 6 steps that you can immediately take action on to start pushing your NFT program forward. And of do a quick count of the poll here of how many people in this session have a MetaMask or a crypto wallet. No, yes, 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 no. What about quick math here, counting on this over 10 fingers here. I'd say we're at, what is it, 1, 2, 2 out of 8 or so. So yeah, about 25% of the people involved here are pretty crypto savvy, using MetaMask or using like really crypto native wallets, which is great. It's great to see. And I think we're going to see a lot more of those barriers getting broken down, right? Like making things easy to use has been one of the key things for getting mass adoption. And NFT at the heart of it is going to be really tied to how the blockchain industry moves forward. So all these types of things that remove these friction points is going to be better for the entire industry. We do have one question, which is, what would a good long-term NFT strategy be for licensors looking to enter the market? Yeah, it's a great question. And every brand and every product is going to be unique, all right? And I think we covered some of the steps involved in making your first steps, right? Some critical questions you need to ask yourself. Do an assessment of kind of where you think that NFTs and this new product and consumer good plays in with your existing business. I think in one of those steps we're taking a look at, are you looking at repackaging all of your merchandise and having a blockchain component to it? Is it just part of it? So I think it is unique to everyone's situation. But we covered some strategies there to kind of just kick that off. All right, we'll just hang on the line. Okay, we got one more question here coming through. Do you think NFTs have any interesting uses in product authentication of genuine physical products, i.e. as an element of a replacement to holograms? Yeah, 100%. That's a good point. As these, like I said, as the NFT, token, however you want to call it, is like we mentioned earlier, is like a bearer certificate, which means you can start referencing things by that identification. And also because you have this public ledger, which is what the blockchain is, and you have these stored records on it, you can attach any information and relevance to the information contained in that. So supply chains are definitely a use case for entire blockchain. So if you're talking about physical products in the aspects of supply chains, it's highly relevant, and it's very useful actually. I believe we're going to see a lot more of those actually coming more and more to going into live commercial use from that, and ultimately pretty much, I wouldn't say everything. That's a pretty bold statement, but a majority of product supply chains, anything relevant to that is going to have a component of blockchain. It doesn't need to be on a public blockchain is what the maybe a misunderstanding is. Like not everything's on the Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like you can have private stored information so that the security and all that sensitive data is kept safe and secure as well. But yes, it's an important part to help some of these efficiencies go to these types of things like physical products, blockchains, etc. Yeah, I love that question. Thank you. Okay, so it looks like we had a couple questions come in. We did a quick poll, which was very interesting to see for this audience, where they kind of sat on the adoption curve. Like I said, thank you for joining me. It was my pleasure to be here and speak about the exciting world of NFT and blockchain, and consumer goods, and digital products, and merch, and gaming. So thank you once again. I hope you all enjoy the rest of the show, and hopefully we speak again soon.